cranberry juice.
It's natural diuretic. My girlfriend drinks it when she's got her period. What do you get, your period?
Here's Johnny.
Who's the best?
Put that cookie down.
What's in the box? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is Video Store Clerks. Welcome to the store.
Hey, what up?
Good evening.
What up? Oh, I thought you were hosting. You did such a fine job. I was just going to let you go at it.
White toast.
This is the Video Store Clerks Podcast. Welcome one. Welcome all. Welcome back if you're just joining us. Thank you to our new subscribers, by the way.
Welcome back if you're Dave.
Oh, thank you very
Welcome
much.
back. That's why I made you do it, so you can get back in the swing of things.
Well, I don't want to get back in the swing.
Oh,
I was perfectly happy not being in the swing of things. Yes, I had a bad case of the flu the last couple of weeks. Kept me down. It was nasty. Almost as nasty as John Cena's heel turn. But not.
Oh!
Anyway, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time with us, this is our Tuesday night live stream where we hang out, we talk about movies we love, and we welcome you all to jump in the conversation. If you're joining us here on the live chat, jump in any old time you want. If you're joining us later, please leave some comments. We'd like to talk to you, hear what you think. And tonight's movie is another Clerks pick. Oh, we should introduce ourselves first.
Yeah.
I'm Dave.
Chadman.
It's your cousin from Boston, Mike.
Wow.
Nasty. I don't ever know how to follow that after you every time. It just always.
Every fucking time. Look at fuckstick. Just fucking do your fucking introduction. Come on, what the fuck?
And yes,
That's Chuck.
That's Chuck Nasty. Nasty Nicholson tonight.
I said nasty. I couldn't hear it over Mike's mouth.
Oh, now I got a big fucking mouth? What the fuck?
Yeah, maybe you do got a big fucking mouth. Move on.
Unbelievable. Go fuck yourself.
See, your intro is way better than mine. Good job.
I don't know. Thank you. And that's right. We're traveling to Boston tonight for tonight's Clerks pick. This is actually a nasty pick for this week.
That's right.
That
It was,
is.
Good pick. Good pick.
A modern day classic from a legendary director, Martin Scorsese, leads an all-star cast, including Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Martin Sheen, just to name a few, but we'll get in that later. That's right, the 2006 classic, The Departed. We'll be talking about that tonight. We'll also have our random clip of the week. If you're new to the channel, that means at the end of the show, our random clip generator will magically select a random clip from a random movie, and we will react to it while praying that we don't get kicked off YouTube or maybe the internet as a whole. Who knows? But we will start the show as we always do, and that is with the news.
That's fucking news.
So you're either going to give yourself cardiac arrest or you're going to throw out your back. And by the way, it's sled riding and not sledding. The station always looking for non-traditional revenue sources. So I think TR and Bob's snow shovel removal service is probably next on the agenda. This fence right here, this fence didn't exist. I think my insurance company paid for this fence. If you've been playing a drinking game this morning based on how many times we told you not to go out, you are completely wasted at this point.
This fucking guy. Unfucking believable.
Good Lord.
That
That,
guy's
guy
just
was
not
going
having
nuts.
it.
That should be our last snow clip, by the way.
That's what I was thinking, you know, because
No more
it's fucking
snow for us.
spring is right around the corner. This fucking weather's
Hell
getting
yeah.
much better. I like it.
Can't wait.
Time for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, that's right.
Hope that intro was okay. I was sort of off the cuff. I didn't expect to do that tonight.
Yeah,
He caught me off. Caught me with my pants down.
I better not have.
That was a killer intro. That was kind of perfect.
That's what I said.
thank
Way
you.
better than what the fuck I've been pulling off the last couple weeks.
I disagree, but okay. In Chad Bang's possession, he is holding the top 10. This is your top 10 domestic box office champions over this past weekend. Spoiler, nobody went to the movies this past weekend.
Oh shit!
No one. No one.
You forgot what?
Top 10. What do we got?
Okay, this will be fun. So number 10 is One of Them Days. Only brought in 915,000 this week, doing 47.5 million the last 7 weeks.
What was that about again?
I forget. It didn't look great.
I have no idea what that is.
I
Who the
figured it'd
fuck
be gone
knows?
this week, but it's there.
It's there.
So number 9. It's the first week out. It did $917,000. The movie is called Mobile Suit Gundam Goo Quicks. The beginning.
What the fuck?
That's exactly what I said. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
I never heard of googly gop, goo goo goo, zoo zoo, goo
Fucking I
goo
don't
choo
know.
choo.
I didn't
Gundam,
look it up 'cause I
isn't
couldn't
that
get past
some-
the title.
Isn't that some anime shit? Gundam? Some fucking.
So it's Mobile Suit Gundam, and the last word is GQUUUUUUX. The beginning.
No fucking clue.
Number 8.
Exactly. The Unbreakable Boy brought in 1.2 mil this week. Did 4.5 mil the last 2 weeks. Number 7, Hard Eyes, not on.
Hard ass.
1.2 mil, bringing in 28.8 the last 4. And I still want to see that, even though fuck Valentine's.
Hard on, still going high.
It is. It's it's blue pilled. Number 6, Mufasa, $1.9 million this week, doing 248. Been on the charts for 11 weeks.
I was gonna say it's still hanging around.
It's fucking up there. I mean, there's nothing else really out. Like 7 and below is just where are we at? Number 5, Dogman, did 4.2 mil, bringing in 84 mil the last 5 weeks. And 4, Paddington in Peru, 4.5 mil, doing 31.3 mil the last 3 weeks. And number 3 is The Monkey.
What'd you call me?
The Monkey came in at number 3, doing 6.4 mil, doing 24.7 mil the last 2 weeks.
I'm excited to see that one.
I want
I've
to
heard
see
good things.
Okay. Now, fucking talking about the monkey. We've talked about it the last couple weeks. Whenever you mentioned it in the fucking top 10, and fucking you're trying to say that it was released in fucking churches. That was all fake news. It was a fucking fake news fucking thing. So
Oh, okay.
let's not fucking try to put that back out there anymore. How about that?
Yeah.
Nobody did. You just brought it up.
What he said.
Nah, I mean, I'm saying we talked about it the last couple weeks. If
guy.
they watch the
It's
fucking episode,
guy.
then they know they're like, why is this in the church? And it's not in the church. It's fake news.
Why did that even get like? How did that even get started? Like, why would you even start that as a rumor?
Who knows?
Like,
Why does
I mean,
any of
if
this
that, you know,
clickbait?
Number
bullshit?
2, Last Breath. First week out did $7.8 million.
what the fuck's that?
It's a new Woody Harrelson movie about deep sea divers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that movie looks like it'll give me an anxiety attack. I kind of want to watch it.
All right.
Woo!
That concludes our review for the last.
Number 1, still at the top of the charts, Captain America, Brave New World did $14.8 million, bringing in 16.4.
Did you just say crapped in America?
4 mil.
Okay.
Did you just say crapped in America?
The last 3 weeks.
He did.
Did I?
Okay, I was making sure. I was like, did I hear him correctly?
Captain America.
Okay.
That's not
Red
so-
Hulk.
Not so good for a Marvel movie. Good lord.
Yeah, whatever. whatever.
But anyway, hey, the summer movie season's right around the corner, so things will start picking up here soon.
If we're lucky.
And now that I'm back this week, I have nothing but bad news.
Yeah, right. No shit. All kinds of shit.
It was a rough week last week. My God, we started with the untimely death of Michelle Trachtenberg, who passed away at 39 years old. There's no official cause of death because the family refused an autopsy. But Chuck,
something to do with her.
Something with us.
She had a liver surgery or something.
Yeah, transplant.
And apparently it didn't take, and there, I guess, some kind of infection or some shit.
That's purely speculation.
That's purely speculation, but that's what they're kind of like aiming towards. So
right, you know, that was the thing. I had first heard that was they were thinking that was the cause, and then they said the family didn't want an autopsy for religious reasons or something like that. And I was like, man, I don't know. I feel like I'd still want an autopsy, because if the people who did the liver transplant fucked up and they're responsible, then those people should be held accountable. But you know, what do I know? I'm just a fucking podcaster.
I feel like this is where House comes up all out of nowhere and says it's lupus.
You in fucking House.
He's on this House kick.
Ever since you went on the House binger, you've been fucking bringing up medical shit every week.
Well, anytime anybody says anything, I go, I'm sorry, it's lupus.
You've been seeing, there's been reports of Chuck walking all over Kentucky with a fucking cane, you know, diagnosing people. Okay.
You get bored, man. You know, just kind of trying to build them leg muscles. What do you want?
He's got scurvy.
Sorry, I was wrong. Lupus.
Oh, and then right after that, the big one, legendary actor Gene Hackman passed away at 95, who we were just talking about when we did the Quick and the Dead review about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just watched Loose Cannons not long ago.
Yeah.
Right after that episode.
And there's still mysteries surrounding the death. Authorities are still trying to piece together the couple's last moments. Now that I saw something, they misidentified the dog, and
something about a pacemaker.
Trying to piece it all together.
Yeah, this is a weird one. You know, when I thought that, you know, the day that Gene Hackman was to pass away, I would not expect it to be, you know, when he's 95 and have all this weird shit surrounding it. Usually, you know, they're 95. It's like, oh, it's sad. And it's like Gene Hackman and his wife dead for days. No one's ever talked to him, like, for days. Dogs are alive. Dogs are dead. 2 different, like, multiple rooms. Like, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, this is some weird shit, because there's like something new coming out like every day or so.
I don't know. It sounds like the people out in Santa Fe, the police department needs to get their shit together. You know, they're reporting no foul play, then they're saying maybe foul play, and these details are off. You know, it's like, why can't we just get a story straight? There's only one narrative. There's only one fucking truth. You know, so just put it out there. No, oh, the investigation is pending. You know, whatever. Then don't release details that are going to make people get confused. I don't know. It's a goddamn tragedy, man. Oh, fuck. I am so fucking bummed. I was super fucking bummed. You know, Gene Hackman, we talked about him on The Quick and the Dead, and there's so many other films. You know, he's a legend. And fucking, you know, yeah, I mean, we can just go down the list. But, you know, like we said when we were talking about Quick and the Dead, you know, there's not too many of that from that era that are still around. You know, it's like Hackman, Eastwood. There, you know, there's a few of them left, and it's just shitty to see Hackman go. You know, I know 95, he had a great life and everything like that, but it hurts still, and especially since we were just talking about him, so it's kind of fresh. It's like, oh yeah, he just celebrated his 95th birthday at the end of January, and then like 2 weeks later he's gone. You know, just shitty, and you know the fact that his wife's gone as well. You know. Just terrible, man.
What's fucked up is like I was just going through some of my figures, and I had that big fucking Lex Luthor figure that we got.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Fuck, I wonder what Hackman's up to." And then like a few days later, it's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, man.
I have a theory.
Okay, right. Doctor House.
Maybe it was lupus.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I had to. I was trying not to. It's okay.
But no, he will be missed, man.
Definitely,
Really.
definitely. One of the greats. You see the Bill Murray video of him?
I did actually. Yeah.
Or he's like, well, I guess we can say it now. Like he was very hard to work with, apparently.
Oh yeah, this coming from Bill Murray.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny too. I was like, well, which one's the pot calling the kettle black?
Yeah, no shit.
Maybe Murray took some notes.
It's funny. I guess Bill Murray was just on Joe Rogan's show, and he had no idea who Joe Rogan was.
Yeah.
Like he got introduced to him. He's like, "Are you Joe?" And like he didn't even know him by face or anything like that. You know, it was just like he's totally off the grid. Said his email address is still AOL.com.
So is mine. That doesn't mean nothing.
No, but I mean, it's like some of these old timers. You know, they just don't even mess with the technology. I think Christopher Walken was one that just recently said that he's never like done anything with technology. He doesn't use a cell phone or doesn't email, doesn't do any of that shit. I can't believe it.
I just pictured in my head Christopher Walken trying to put a computer together.
He's still got a rotary phone.
What am I going to do with this fucking computer?
Like, hello. Hello.
Anyway.
Gene Hackman, legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bill Murray was telling a story. I guess, what was that one movie? The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that one in a minute.
Bill Murray said Gene Hackman was doing it. He didn't name the other actor, I don't think, but they went through like take after like the takes were in the 20s, and the other guy kept screwing up, and then Gene Hackman did like a half-ass take, and then the guy nailed it. And Bill Murray said he was like, "Oh my God, Gene's about to throw that guy off the roof of the building."
I was going to say it's got to be Owen Wilson.
It has to be, right?
Oh, it has to be.
Yeah,
I would have thrown Owen Wilson off.
I wasn't going to say it, but that's who I imagine.
Chuck's
Hey,
trigger word.
I keep fucking up. Sorry, splat.
Luke or Owen, probably Owen.
It doesn't matter.
that Hansel is so hot.
What?
That Hansel is so hot right now. You don't know about Hansel?
Huh?
We'll save that for another day.
Okay.
He doesn't know the Forzes.
He doesn't know who the Fours is.
You shut your face.
And more tragedies, but wait, there's more. David Johansen, actor and frontman for the New York Dolls, passed away at 75.
Niagara Falls, Frankie Angel.
Yep. Goes to Christmas Past and Screws.
Yeah, man.
In addition, but wait, there's more.
Jesus.
George Lowy, the voice of Space Ghost,
Saw
passed
that
away
earlier.
at 67. I thought he was way older than that. I mean, Space Ghost Coast to Coast was a big show when we were like 18. Me and Mike used to watch that show all the
Younger
time.
than that. Younger
Yeah.
than
I was like 14,
Yeah, we used to watch that show all the time, and we couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
that. Good shit.
I was back in the early days of Adult Swim.
They
Good
brought
shit.
it back for a little while too, didn't they? Didn't they have like a? Well, no.
Same. Didn't have the same vibe.
Nah.
And in more tragic news, the Oscars happened.
Oh yeah.
They love. What's that movie? Adora. What's it called?
Honora?
Honora. Thank you, Honora. They loved Honora.
Adora Explorer?
Yeah.
The fuck's a Nora?
Honora. Well, they loved it. Walked away, I believe, with four Oscars, I believe. Really boring, predictable, very low viewership. The lowest in 4 years, and apparently there was a big snafu if you streamed it on Hulu, as the stream actually cut off before the Best Actress award went out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because everybody realizes that Hollywood's full of a bunch of fucking assholes, and everybody's kind of done dealing with it. That's what I'm saying. I think people are just fed up with like celebrities and their bullshit anymore, so nobody really gives a shit. The last one that anyone really watched was Ricky Gervais, and he fucking owned that fucking room. So there's not even another one, like another award show I'd ever watch, and I watched that on accident because it happened to be on where I was at.
I heard Conan did a good job.
Is that who hosted it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know nothing of that shit anymore.
Oh, and I was going to say congratulations to Vigo the Carpathian for walking away with an Oscar.
What?
And also, congratulations to Kieran Culkin, who walked away with an Oscar.
Yeah, that's real.
That was pretty
Who are
much
you
the-
referring to as Vigo?
Vigo.
Vigo is Vigo.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Like he
like the
wasn't
buzzing
there.
of flies to him.
Yeah, he was there. No, I'm so lost right now, you motherfuckers.
The
So
baby,
sad.
the
Oscar.
baby, Chuck,
Oscar the
was
baby.
Oscar in the movie. Jesus Christ!
So he was there.
You're ruining this bit. You know that.
I have no idea about anything that went on with the Oscars. I just told you that.
The actor is dead. The
That's
baby
yeah.
is not real. The baby's
Actually-
grown up now.
Actually, the baby was a twin, and one of the twins actually did kill themselves when they got older. A little
There you
depressing.
Yeah,
but,
super.
yeah.
Way to ruin the mood.
Hey, I'm good for that. Moving on.
Named after a hot dog.
So a skeleton walked into a bar. He asked for a beer and a mop.
Huh? Okay, fine. Moving on to our main event. 2006's The Departed. This is a nasty pick for this week. So, Chuck, we'll start with you.
There was no good news at all.
No, nothing.
None whatsoever.
Welcome back, Dave.
Great.
All right. So what?
Go ahead, Chuck. This is your show, your pick. Let's hear what you got to say about The Departed.
It's a good movie. No, I love this movie. I absolutely adore this movie. Like when I first saw it in theaters, there was something about it where I just wanted to watch it over and over and over again. And when it came out, I've literally done that multiple times. This movie, just played it all day long. I don't know, the acting, all the actors that are in it, the story plot is so good. The characters are awesome. I'm a huge Jack Nicholson fan. And I think it's one of his best roles. And it's got mystery, but it's got it's got some suspense, it's got some romance, it's got some action, violence. It's rude and crude in a lot of ways. And it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it. It's like a 2-hour long movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes by really quick because there's not a boring moment in this movie. Every part of it, whether it's the acting or what's going on in the scene, every scene in this movie is just awesome. I love this fucking movie. When it comes down to my top top 10 movies that aren't horror related, this is definitely in there somewhere. I don't know, but I love this movie. Absolutely adore it.
Yeah, it's a good script, good characters that executed to perfection, I believe. I think the cinematography, the editing, the performances, I mean, I got nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah.
And it for 2.5 hours, yeah. I think especially when you get halfway through, then it just flies by.
Yeah,
I thought.
After the build up.
After.
Then it takes that roller coaster turn.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fucking characters in this movie with a lot to do. So I mean, it's really hard to kind of execute that.
A lot of tension coming from both sides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people don't know this is actually a remake of a 2002 Hong Kong film called Infernal Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think it's I don't know if it still is, but at the time it was the only film that got an Oscar that was a remake from a foreign film. So,
have you ever seen that?
Infernal Affairs?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scorsese didn't even know that it was a remake until he started filming it, and then he found out, and so he was like, "Well, I'm not watching that movie until this is done."
No, he wanted to do it his way, which I would do it the same. I'm not going to go back and watch that. And it's okay, I'll just go by what my guys gave me with the script and then let's go, And it worked because he ended up getting the Oscar that year. The first time. Can you believe that? Out of all the films Scorsese did before this is the first time he gets an Oscar for Best Director.
Me and Dave was talking about that earlier. That's just fucking mind-boggling.
Raging Bull, Gangs of New York, all these movies that, I mean, he had a huge movie that came out at least once every decade. Never got.
Well, I mean, when you look back at, there's a lot of violence and everything in his films, but it's like, he even like kind of tried to pay, get in there and say, okay, I'll do The Aviator, which isn't so violent, and then and he still didn't get it. So, and then finally with The Departed, and he's like, really, The Departed, with all the violence and the language in this, but hey, it worked, and he well deserved. Marty Scorsese, one of the best.
Yes.
Yeah. Chuck mentioned Jack Nicholson. I will say, I think this is probably Mark Wahlberg's best movie.
He's fucking great in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's another tribute probably to Scorsese. He's one of those directors that gets a lot out of his actors. Leonardo DiCaprio, man. Like, holy shit. From Growing Pains to this.
Romeo and Juliet.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. This movie was sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that this was the movie that actually that made me realize that Leo could be kind of a badass when he wanted to be, because it was kind of like his first badass role, I guess, or movie show where he wasn't just a complete wimp and shit like that, because right after this he made Blood Diamond.
Yeah, well, I don't think him and Wahlberg really got along. I guess Wahlberg said he was annoying whenever they did Basketball Diaries together.
Oh wow, I forgot all about that movie.
I thought just because Marky Mark didn't want to deal with anybody that hung around Diddy.
That was way early.
I mean, could be later too. We don't know at this point.
Well, then Scorsese said he almost needed to get a fucking a translator for Mark Wahlberg's Boston dialect, because he went back to being hard Boston.
That's funny.
He was fucking, for me, he's like, every time I watch this movie, I just like his character way more.
Yeah. At first you kind of you're like, man, this guy's a fucking dick. But when you realize why he's doing it, and you realize he's actually not that bad of a dude. He's kind of having to be that way.
No, he has to test these guys. Because, if they buckle under the pressure with him, then he knows that they're fucked whenever they go undercover.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's the good cop, bad cop routine. It's funny, the dynamic, because you got Queenan and Dignan, where it's kind of good cop, bad cop. And then you got Costigan and Sullivan, which is really good cop and bad cop. So it's like I said, it's an interesting dynamic. Fun little film.
Yeah, and then, Mike said, with all the tension, I mean, my God, you basically have two rats on both sides that are slowly finding each other out. And with Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon, I'm sorry, I don't remember all the characters' names. I'll have to call them by their real names.
Matt Damon.
And then the good cop, Martin Sheen and Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, man.
I'm not sure what to make of that Alec Baldwin character.
I think he's great.
Yeah, asshole cop.
Yeah.
He's the typical sergeant or captain or whatever at the fucking police station.
And the great thing about it is, all these guys kind of pull off the Boston feel, perfectly. It seems like authentic Boston people when you talk to, just the way their mannerisms are talking, everything, that's straight up Boston. I think a lot of Boston natives, these guys actually sound authentic, as opposed to other films where they're just like, or kind of like me at the beginning of this podcast, whenever I'm trying to do a fucking Boston accent and I sound like an asshole, but these guys actually do it justice.
That's just your everyday voice, Mike.
Yeah, it's my everyday voice, but no, Wahlberg, he, it's easy for him to just slip into them, and is from that area, so not a problem there.
Yeah, and he actually, I guess, went ride-alongs and shit with the Boston police whenever he was fucking researching the role.
Yep.
Shit, they went on busts and shit. Can you imagine fucking fucking cops kicking your door and the first dude is Matt Damon and you're like, what the fuck?
Where's the camera?
This shit ain't real, man. That's Matt Damon.
I didn't sign any fucking paper.
And
it could.
okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that it was supposed to be Brad Pitt in the role Matt Damon had. So he came on as a producer of the film, I believe, because I think Jennifer Aniston's production company fronted some money for it.
Yeah.
Yep. He was one of the producers early on, and they had talked about, it's like you read my mind, Dave, because I was getting ready to say this. This cast is so star-studded, but it could have very easily went a different way and it would have still been just as star-studded. He talks about Brad Pitt taking that role of Matt Damon. A couple others that they were saying that Pacino, they originally, I think Scorsese originally wanted Pacino to play Frank Costello. He wanted De Niro to play Queenan. So I would imagine that Queenan and Pacino, back together since Heat.
Right.
That would have been interesting. Leota was considered for Dignam, Mark Wahlberg's role. Also, when Leota couldn't do it, I think they considered Dennis Leary and even Theory being that smart mouth guy, very easily.
Yeah.
But I think he was caught up in the filming of Rescue Me or something like that. So those guys didn't end up getting on. I think the studio originally wanted Tom Cruise to play Leo's character, which I was like, that would have been terrible.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have fit at all. And then who else? Oh, you have Vera Farmiga's character of the therapist. They wanted to consider Kate Winslet, Emily Blunt, Hilary Swank, or Jennifer Aniston for that role, and it ended up going to Vera. So, and this was a laundry list. I was like, there's so many considerations. Baldwin's, we just talked about Alec Baldwin's character. They originally wanted that to be Mel Gibson, and he was going off to direct Apocalypto.
Oh, wow.
So
that'd be a weird movie with all those people.
There's that. Imagine Mel Gibson. It would have been crazy. And Tyler Perry wanted Anthony Anderson's role. So there, this was a very sought after film. Everybody wanted to be a part of this film. Until they didn't, I guess, but it was definitely a hot script, and the opportunity to work with Marty Scorsese, that's what kind of attracted a lot of these guys.
Well, even Jack turned it down the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then he talked to who was it, Scorsese and DiCaprio, and then he decided he pretty much was like, well, let me ad lib whatever I want. So then he was like, okay, cool. So
well, I think
because he was tired of doing comedies and shit.
Well, I think his main issue was that the character wasn't as involved. So whenever he first talked to him, he wasn't interested, and they went back and kind of did some rewrites and made Costello's character a little bit more involved. And whenever they came back to him, he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it," because he didn't want just got some kind of bit part where he's playing the boss. He takes center stage in this film, in my opinion. It's another one. Just like Batman '89. Jack Nicholson front and center.
Hello there.
Hello, Seabass.
Kick his ass, Seabass.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Jack, he added a lot.
Oh, for sure.
We just saw because Matt Damon was telling us. We just watched a video earlier with Matt Damon telling a story on a podcast about it.
That's Chuck's favorite story ever.
Yep,
it's one of my favorites though. Matt Damon's there talking about how Jack was a master at scenes and ad
writing.
Right, yeah, and he keeps talking about the scene where they execute a woman, and there's a point where Jack goes, what is it? He goes, I think I want to fuck her. Oh yeah, gee, she fell funny. And then he's like, but if you keep the camera rolling, and he goes, and I look at him and go, I think I want to fuck her again. And then the other guy, I can't remember his name,
French.
Looks at French, and he says, you really should see somebody. And they both start laughing. He goes, "No, that's a real sinister thing, to say, or whatever the fuck, because it means I've done this a lot." Like, yeah, it's a good one. I wish we were able just to show the clip instead of me trying to butcher the whole thing.
That's what I was telling Dave. I was like, I don't want people to get in trouble for fucking
I don't see why we would.
shit.
I don't see why we would.
We are doing
good.
well. How about yourself?
We're doing well. We're doing well.
Hope you're doing good.
The chat is very
like-
delayed.
No, I think what it is, it doesn't show up instantly, Seabass. So if you type something in the chat, we got to show it on the screen. So sometimes we just don't get to it because we're in the middle of conversation. But thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Mr. Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch. But yeah, it's the writer in Jack that comes out, because I think originally on the script, it just said on the page that he shoots a guy in the marsh, and that was it. And Jack kept adding all the stuff to it, and the thing Matt Damon kept saying that Jack was quoting was like, "Now you can end the scene there, but if you keep the camera rolling, I can add this, and you can stop the scene there, but if you keep the camera rolling."
Yeah.
He added that whole entire scene. There was even a couple other parts that they didn't use, but it was the part where his right hand man pulls out the axe.
Oh, they were
he added that.
up. Yeah.
Now, hang on, I think I want to fuck him one more time.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's why I got that.
Ha!
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
So he added that whole thing, which was probably 1 or 2 pages out of that, just that one little bit where he shoots a guy in the marsh, but then Jack added like 1 or 2 more pages that I think gave the character a little more, that because it's a character that goes crazier and crazier as the movie goes on.
Yeah, he's fucking psycho by the end.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great.
Yeah, there's so many instances where you kind of see this guy's mind unraveling, or maybe that's just the way he is after all these years of murdering and doing so many heinous things. But it's like in this scene, like we said, he adds the layers to it. Now we don't even get the full, whatever they filmed there, all the extra stuff, it got kind of narrowed down to, oh, she felt funny. But like you said, Jack adds those layers where it's like there's comedy, there's the fact that he's talking about murder in such a way, you're like, this character is very sinister. So that just goes to show you the talent that Jack Nicholson has and what he brings to the table.
Yeah. Well, he's like kind of like a nutcase when Leo first meets him. Like he first meets up with him and tells him to come up to his place or whatever, and he pulls out an arm.
No, yeah,
he immediately goes and he like immediately rips off the fucking like the wire and shit and throws it in the thing. It's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
he's just eating his breakfast. He's got a severed hand.
Yeah.
That was another one that Jack added. It was one of those things where like, what if I
thought it was nice. She asked me what hand he jerks off with.
Yeah.
If I just pull out a severed hand as I'm eating my lobster for breakfast and having a conversation.
Yeah. As far as I remember, she's not that sentimental. It's such a wicked character, but he adds the humor to it because that's if you're some kind of crime boss, you're not just like a hard ass all the time. You're just a regular guy, and it's like you put the comedy into your everyday life, just like us. But his everyday life is murder and crime. So he just adds to it. But that goes along. That goes along with you want to keep the guys at bay because you're like, oh well, this guy is that messed up in the head. He's capable of anything.
Yeah. I love the fact that you've got Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio who they graduate at the same time and everything, and then they both go different directions. And Matt Damon's pretty much like groomed pretty much to be this way his whole life, like his whole like young up to his adult life by Frank's, by Jack's character, and makes him believe that what he's doing is the right thing and what he should be doing or whatever the fuck. And then he's the goody two shoes kind of guy. And then Leo comes from like a real shitty family, and all he wants to do is be a cop and do the right thing. But now he has to go in this whole secret thing to have to do a bunch of shitty stuff to get to I don't know. and then he become, and then he kind of befriends like Frank, and there's like this whole, I don't know. I love the dynamic of those three specifically, but like all the characters are great. But going back to Jack, there's some really memorable for every time he was on the screen. Like, I mean, it's Jack Nicholson, you know what I mean? But a couple of my favorite scenes in this movie are when he is with, one of them is when he's sitting talking with Leo about, you think you could be me? He goes, yeah, I could probably be you, but I don't want to be you, blah, blah. And he's saying all this shit to him. And then he drops that thing, and then he drops something, and he picks it back up, and it's a gun. And he's just like, like, I don't know. It's just like that whole scene is just, it's just pure Jack. It's just like exactly how you figure he would act in that scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that wasn't even scripted. Like,
Jack
Jack just told Marty to get him a fucking pistol, and he just fucking whips it out. Like, Leo had no idea.
Yeah, I heard about that actually. It kind of took Leo by off guard.
Yeah, you can see like he looks kind of shocked in that take because they actually used the first take.
And there's another part, after he leaves and he kind of walks out of frame, he's like, eat something, and then he kind of sneaks back behind Leo.
My cigarette.
And it's like Leo's just kind of like, what the fuck, So he's messing with him, but I mean that's part of the mind games. It's like we were talking about with Mark Wahlberg's character of Dignam, where he's kind of like putting him to the test. Frank's doing the same thing here. He's putting him to the test because he's trying to figure out who's the rat. So it's like, okay, is this guy going to crack under the pressure? Is he going to reveal something? And it shows. And Leo does such a good job in this film that like it just seems like his character is on a 24-hour panic attack, and I think he even said that at one point. But
believe it.
But it's like he's getting tested on all sides. Like we said, Dignam's testing him, Costello's testing him, and he's just freaking losing his mind, and he's trying to keep his cover.
Yeah.
So, Leo does such a good job in this film. It's one of, you mentioned earlier, Chuck, that it was one of the first films where he kind of, stood out to you as kind of right before this was Gangs of New York. And another one where he, he does a really good job, and he comes across, this was the era where he's kind of transitioning, from, being that heartthrob type role, Titanic, Romeo and Juliet, he wanted to get away from that, all those younger roles and everything, teen heartthrob. Yeah. And with doing this Gangs of New York and this back to back, this is really kind of where he got his stride and became, that next level actor.
After this was like what, Shutter Island and shit like that too came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
Catch Me If You Can. I think it's like you can see. The progression of Leonardo DiCaprio, and and how can you not working with like Jack Nicholson, all this cast is so strong, and if he didn't learn anything, that would be ridiculous, and you just can see working with these other masters of their craft, it just elevated him even higher.
He was a made man after this.
Yeah.
What I always thought was pretty dope too is how like way before, like whenever Sullivan's a kid and he kind of like takes him under his wing and shit, and then just molds the shit out of him and then becomes a cop so he can just be his fucking inside guy. So I think he had that shit like planned out from the jump as soon as he saw that little kid and realized he didn't have a father and shit. He was like, fuck it. He's like, we're gonna make my life a little easier down the road, and that shit worked out.
Franco
fast track through the police force, and
he's definitely a smart dude. And Damon fucking killed that fucking shit. Like the whole movie, you believe everybody's character in the movie. Like they all fucking nailed it in this movie.
There's a couple of theories about the Mark Wahlberg character. Do you believe he was a rat or a mole as well? I don't think so, but what do you guys think?
Wahlberg?
No. Yeah.
No.
You think he was working for Frank?
I don't think so, but I've seen some
theory
theories online that he was another mole.
That's a stupid theory. That wouldn't make any sense.
Okay. I didn't think so. Yeah, I wonder what you guys thought, if you had a take on that or not.
No.
What I always kind of wondered though was the other dude that got shot that gave him the
Delahunt?
wrong address. Was he really a cop,
yeah.
or were they actually just saying that to think they got the cop?
See that now that's a better argument that I've seen posted online, and that guy, the character is Delahunt, and it's played by Mark Rolston. But
Drake.
Huh?
Drake
Drake what?
from Aliens.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a big fan of Drake's music.
I was like, wait a minute.
I don't like Drake.
Yeah, I was thinking something completely else. But yeah, I think he was undercover, and that's why he didn't give him up.
Me too. I mean, because he kind of says that, but then once Jack actually makes that comment, though, you kind of think about it, and you're like, well, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's the fucking cop.
Well, if you think about it,
he had 2 rats in his unit,
right? And here's the thing: if they're both undercover and they both don't know about each other, then they're both looking out for their own asses. So, up until that point, Delahunt is looking at self-preservation, and then once he gets shot, he goes to Costigan and he's like, hey, tell me why I didn't say anything. And that to me, that's him saying, like, look, I was undercover too, and I'm protecting you now, because he has no other, he has no loyalty to the police otherwise. Why would he? Right. He would definitely.
That's how I took it too. But they just throw that in there to kind of make you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a lot of. This was my first time seeing this movie all the way through, by the way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dave doesn't watch it.
I shouldn't be shocked at this point.
I never am anymore.
I work at a shitty video store. That threw me now. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, there's the movie does leave some questions, but it's like you're still satisfied with the ending. I believe.
I think
what question?
Oh yeah, I was. I think it's a great end.
What questions did you have, David?
Well, like we were talking about with who was there another mole? Was there another rat? Was that couldn't have been it. They had to have more. They had to infiltrated each other more than that. They can't just be one guy.
Technically, they both had 2 moles.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the idea at the end. We're jumping all the way to the end, but that last shot when you see the rat run across and you see the state house in the background, that's kind of like the theme of the film. If you look at it, because it's like Damon's a rat, DiCaprio's a rat, Jack Costello. We find out that he's working. He's a protected FBI informant. Delahunt's a rat. They're like almost every character in this film is a rat in some way. So there is no loyalties.
Yeah, even fucking Damon's partner was fucking in with Castillo, and he had no idea.
Yep, another one, James Badgedale, who if any of you guys are fans of 24, he was in 24, and that's pretty much all he did. He did 24 in this. He did some other little stuff, but he didn't go anywhere, which I was surprised. Chasing 24. So
yeah, I couldn't place, like, I knew he looked familiar and it was bugging me, but I didn't
do, but I think the hair threw me off.
Yeah, because he was a villain in Iron Man 3. I think that's where I knew him from. But he had his head shaved.
That was
I don't think I've seen any of that.
Oh, he had his head shaved in that too?
Well, it wasn't shaved, but
no.
It was shaved.
I haven't watched 24. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I just binge watched all of it like a month ago.
So yeah, that's kind of the theme of the film. That everybody's a rat, more or less,
and people were pissed at that little rat at the very end, CG'd in the screen. I don't know why. Like, it gives a fuck. But everybody made a big deal about it.
Really?
Yeah. They did like an online petition where they were trying to do like a crowd. They were trying to do it like a crowdfunding to get enough money for to pay the studio to
take the rat out.
Take the rat out of the scene.
What?
But I think it's a good. I think it's a good ending scene.
Yeah, like I said, that's the point.
I think it just shows how stupid people are.
Yeah, of all things to do a petition for.
The basis of the story is all rats die.
Yeah, kind of.
Or a rat always, a rat is always going to try to find a way to survive.
Right.
Right.
All the rats died in this movie.
They did.
Spoiler.
Yeah, see, that's why I didn't agree with the thing with Mark Wahlberg, because he was the only one that survived. Well, then again, Martin Sheen wasn't a rat, or was he? He wasn't a rat.
No, I mean, he got murdered.
Okay.
No.
Because I did pick up on the
got a light.
The X's every time a character was going to die.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, I did pick up on that.
Shout out to Scarface.
The original Scarface.
OG.
23.
32.
Was it 32, 35? Something like that.
I don't know. I have it somewhere. It came with that fucking big ass Scarface box set I got.
And yeah, this movie was a critical and commercial success. Again, executed to perfection. $90 million budget, brought in $291 million. Good day at the office. Reviews pretty much across the board were glowing. As we mentioned, this was Martin Scorsese's first Oscar win, which is still crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes down to movies like this, like I'm a big fan of like crime movies and heist movies and shit like that. This is up there with me, like with Heat, you know what I mean, and shit like that. Usually I don't watch them all the time, but like I said earlier, like I just love this fucking movie. There's not any part of it that's boring.
I don't know how anybody couldn't like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, even my uncle messaged me today and was like, "Oh, you guys are talking about The Departed," and he's like, "That's my favorite movie." Like, I'm like, "Where?"
That's justified.
It's a fucking dope ass movie, like from beginning to end. Like I said, like a 2 hours and 31 minutes, and it doesn't play that well. Like you like look at the clock after it's over, and you're like, "Fuck,
yeah,
that was a long movie." Because you're just fucking in for the ride the whole time. Like it doesn't stop. Like you're just constantly interested in what's going on.
Good use of Pink Floyd song.
Yeah, I mean
the live version. The live
Roger Waters and Van Morrison.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, they played that live in '90.
Well, I just thought it was a Pink Floyd.
Love me some Floyd.
Right. I pick and choose, but yeah. There's something else I was going to say next.
It's a great soundtrack. Scorsese always does well with the soundtracks in his films. He always has to have Rolling Stones, of course.
The third movie he put that in. I think they said.
Oh yeah. You got some Allman Brothers in there. You talk about Roger Waters, Van Morrison, "Comfortably Numb," "Baby Blue" by Badfinger, and of course the song that everybody remembers from this film, the Dropkick Murphys, "Shipping Up to Boston." So
yeah, dude.
Such a good song.
It really sets the tone for this film.
It really does.
That song's been stuck in my head since I watched the movie.
Oh,
I saw them play that shit live once.
I've never gotten to see Dropkick, man.
I've seen them like 4 times, I think.
That's what everybody says that's seen them. I've seen them like 4 or 5, 100 times. I'm like, I've never
used to play a lot of like old New York hardcore shows back in the day in DC. Whenever I used to go down there all the time.
Yeah, they just played with was it Murphy's Law? I don't know who the other bands were, but they just played here in Kentucky last night, I think.
Murphy's Law was with them at one of the shows I saw, man.
Yeah, but it was okay. That was just that one. Man, it's been going on for a long time too.
And a lot of the times you see Costello's character, they're playing Patsy Cline, "Sweet Dreams of You."
Yeah.
So,
dude, one of my favorite scenes in this fucking movie though is whenever he first gets Billy, and he has the cast on, and they fucking take him in the back room and have him fucking patted down and just beat the shit out of his cast and shit. Like that to me is one of the best scenes ever.
Oh yeah, he's like, "Are you a fucking cop? Are you a fucking cop? You and your fucking shit ass cousin gonna be dealing in my fucking town again," or whatever. So just beats the shit out of him.
He just gives him the rundown. Like, look, like if you want to make some money, fucking come work with me and quit fucking with your cousin. And then
pats him on the back. He's like, "Shh, it's okay, it's okay." Just throws money at him. Like he just throws the whole thing. He looks at his arm. He's like, "Eh."
I feel like he learned more about some of his family just from talking to fucking Jack and shit too, because they're at that fucking diner and he's like, "If your dad saw me sitting with you, he'd come over here and kill me."
Yeah.
Like your Uncle Jackie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like we said, it just goes back to he's always testing these guys. And it's like, okay, French, obviously told him about what happened at the bar, with him getting into a fight with the guy and everything like that. So he's like, oh, Jackie's nephew, maybe we'll bring him in here or whatever. So he's got to test him. He's got to see, is this guy, because they know he was with the Stadies, but he got kicked out. So
Right.
they got to say, is this guy wearing anything? He pats him down, checks him for a wire, goes through it, looks in his boots and everything like that. And then, of course, they got to bust open the cast because, is there a wire inside the cast? And then he takes Dad's, because he just, he legitimately broke his hand whenever he beat the shit out of those guys from Providence. So
Right.
he's really hurt, and they just busted his cast open. And now they're taking these boots and just smashing his arm. And it's like, oh man, the brutality. He's like, are you a fucking cop? Swear on your mother. He didn't swear on his mother's. He just said, I'm not a cop. So
Yeah. Well, that's one thing about I love this movie, especially if it's like a first time watch for somebody. Like there is definitely like tension even for the viewer. You know what I mean? Because like if you don't know what's going to happen next, and you're just like, man, because like old dudes like it's a matter of time where he gets busted, and if he gets busted, this is going to happen, blah blah. And then you have like Jack Nicholson, like Frank doesn't even like suspect Leo at a certain point, but like I don't know, they well made script, well done script, great directing, obviously. But man, it's when you have this many great actors in one film, like it's almost like if you fail at that, then that was. But this movie is just like perfect. It's one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that shit tears you apart because like you like just watching a movie, like you always kind of want to root for the good guy. So like you're kind of hoping like DiCaprio pulls this shit off, but at the same time you're like, fuck that, like. I want to see Damon fucking save up Jack and then fucking just like get rid of this guy so they can keep doing their shit. But you're just torn the whole fucking movie of who you want to fucking like actually come out on top.
Because like Chuck said, the script, William Monahan did a great job here adding on to Infernal Affairs and kind of making this their own thing. But it's like you're so invested in all the characters because you're getting the story of everything. You're getting Damon's story. You're getting DiCaprio's story. You're getting to see inside the mind, the wicked mind of Costello and everything like that. So there's so many different characters that you're invested in. And you're just kind of like, where's this going to go? Who's going to make it out alive? And ultimately none of them do.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy because there haven't been too many films where like pretty much the whole main cast is killed off like that, you know, and so because even up until that part where you think like finally DiCaprio has caught the rat and he's going to take him in, and as soon as that elevator door opens, man, I swear to God, anybody who was watching this film the first time and that elevator door opens and DiCaprio gets fucking blown away, they were like, holy shit.
Dude, when I saw that in theaters, everybody, because nobody was expecting that.
No.
It's like, oh shit, all right, and that door opens, he gets shot. Everybody that was in the theater went, like, you heard it like everybody. Yeah. Good plot. I mean, good plot twist.
See his payroll?
Yeah. This is what I call an oh shit movie. And as the first time watching, I did that a lot. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shit comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Especially as that part towards the end where everybody was getting their fucking head blown off.
Yeah.
Just, oh shit. But yeah, especially the part with DiCaprio. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Or even like you go back to Queenan. Whenever Queenan gets thrown off the building, it's crazy because you're thinking like, oh, Martin Sheen's going to be in here, but then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone, and it's such a weird death because he falls like right next to DiCaprio, and the blood sprays up everywhere, and I'm just kind of like, that looked a little hokey, but I thought it was funny how he felt funny.
I mean, somebody
just fell off the building.
mean, if somebody falls from a building a certain height in a certain way, I mean, it's going to splatter something. And he fell into
not the splatter, just the fact that he lands like right there in front of him, and like, yeah, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, wrong place, wrong time.
That'd be some crazy shit.
And then it just turns into a complete firefight because, you know, all the guys come out, and then you got the guys that are watching them, and they're like, "Oh fuck it!" And they just start shooting.
Yeah,
you know, it devolves into chaos because, you know, Damon Sullivan is trying to mastermind, you know, move these pieces around, trying to be the mastermind of all this, trying to figure out who the rat is, and it just goes all to hell. he just turns off the radio like,
yeah. Like some back up. He's like, fuck this. I got nothing to do with this. Dude, this movie's fucking great. Like I watched it this afternoon, and I'm just like, man, I need to start watching this even more.
I mean, there's so many different emotions like that go on. Like there's so many different things. You got the you know, the little bit of humor in it. You know, there's a lot of darkness in this movie, obviously. Action scenes, romance scenes, a lot of blood. Like I said, a lot of violence. It's good shit. I mean, and also, I mean, how many movies, you know, have Jack Nicholson, you know, high as fuck on cocaine with two women, you know. What did he tell her? He's like, eat it. He's like, they'll just stare at it. What does he say to her?
It's American Psycho.
Yeah, I know, but he says something similar to her. Like, I can't remember what he says. He just starts throwing cocaine at their ass and shit. Like,
yeah,
he's so dark in that.
I like later whenever he's like, I don't exactly need pussy anymore, but I like it.
Yeah.
In the part when he meets Matt Damon in the theater.
Oh yeah.
Man. Classic Jag.
I figured I was going to come dressed up, but I figured we would have probably got cut off the air for that one.
I was trying to locate a trench coat, and I was going to wear my hat. Wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to wear that, you know. But I just got shades, man.
I was
shades
tempted
and
to put that in
cigarettes.
the intro.
Wow! The logo pops up.
But I didn't. I thought better of it, but it would have been funny. I thought.
Yeah, Matt Damon's all like, "You gotta be like," he's like, "What are you shitting me?" He's like, "I own the place."
Yeah, like that scene's pretty intense too. Like, if you think he's going to get found out.
Yeah, exactly. There's that tension.
And stab some random dude in the chest.
Like, I'm like, how can you not see his face at some point, Leo?
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
you know.
There's a few times on that little chase where you're like, "Come on now." There's a few moments.
Yeah.
Like you gotta feel for the therapist that's dating Matt Damon, but he can't get it up to do anything with her, and then she fucking goes around, and then she gets impregnated by Leo's kid. With Leo's kid, not by his kid, but
Whoa, that's a whole other movie there.
Yeah,
that's the sequel they were talking about, huh?
At least you believe that it's probably Leo's kid.
That's how I took it.
Yeah, because it's funny because Damon's character there at the end, whenever it's him and Costello, whenever it's Sullivan and Costello there in the yard or whatever, and Frank's sitting there and he's bleeding out or whatever, and he's like, you know, Damon's giving him shit. He's like, you know, all that murdering and all that fucking and no sons. And then he shoots him. But it's like, it's funny because we know as the audience that fucking Sullivan is having sexual issues as well, and he can't get her pregnant. So
right.
It just goes to show you, you know, this murdering business, you know, might have
right.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, some people get off on it, so
yeah.
A lot of fucking. Anyway,
it's just so and it's so weird, you know. There's so many scenes where Nick, I'm just like, you know, for a guy that's playing like a hardcore gangster here, you know, just walking around with his bucket axe, always looks kind of disheveled, You know, it's not what you're used to. You're seeing like Al Capone type stuff, or Tony Montana with his suits and everything like that. No, it's like messed up and he's wearing a bucket hat. No ticky, no laundry.
Yeah.
Like,
No ticky, no laundry.
I was trying to find a bucket hat, but I don't have a bucket hat. And then I found like my one old hat that's fucking, I don't know how old I was when I bought that shit. It's probably 30 years old. But fucking, it's like one of like the bucket hats that's kind of fuzzy, but it looked more like an LL Cool J hat.
No.
It's like, that won't play.
I've never owned it.
And this is based off real life stuff. His crew is basically based off of one of the crews there in Boston, Boston's Winter Hill Gang, and his character Frank Costello is kind of based off of Whitey Bulger, who Johnny Depp ended up playing in Black Mass. If you're familiar with that film,
I love that movie. That's a good one.
But there was an actual gangster. There was an actual gangster named Frank Costello. He was a real person. He was an Italian American crime boss that worked in New York with Lucky Luciano. So there's a couple crossover things there. But if you see me and Chad wearing the New York hat, it's for a purpose. It's because Jack, being a Lakers fan and lifelong Lakers fan, would not put on Boston hat. He said, "No, I'm not going to wear no Boston hat." He wanted to wear a New York hat. He wanted to wear a bucket hat, but I'm not going to wear no Boston shit. I'm not going to wear no Red Sox shit. Not going to wear no Boston. Not going to wear any Celtic shit. That's for sure. If you're familiar with the rivalry between the Celtics and the Lakers, Jack Nicholson is not going to wear no Celtics gear, no matter what the price.
Nah,
nobody good. Are you going to tell Jack Nicholson you can't do that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, I mean, that's what Matt Damon said too. He's like, he's fucking Jack Nicholson. Like, he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
I think it's funny too. Like, I was watching like an interview with Scorsese, and he was like, "This is the first movie I made that had a story." I was like, "That's pretty funny."
Yeah. Is that why he thinks he won?
Maybe.
I don't know, David. You said this is the first time you're watching it all the way through. Was there any scenes that really stood out to you where you're like, "Oh, that was the best scene"? There's so many good ones.
I mean, yeah, like anything with Jack always stood out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because especially when when he comes, he's one of those characters in a movie that when he comes on screen, you're like, "Oh, okay, shit's about to go down." And yeah, there's tension all the way through because you're like, one of them, both of them, somebody's going to get caught.
Yeah,
somebody's going to get fingered.
Whoa.
Okay, easy. Man, at the right time.
Back,
who's getting fingered?
Except that opening scene, whenever it's like years ago in Boston, and then Frank's in that little corner store, and he's talking about the guy's daughter. She's really coming into her form or whatever he says, and then he's like, "Oh, have you got your period yet?" And I'm like, "This is fucking
what a creep.
This is super creepy." Like it's probably just Costello fucking with them. And throwing his weight around. But I was just like, this is a fucking weird scene. But and then later on, you have Wahlberg. I think he mentions 2 different times something about 12-year-old boys. I was like, what's going on here, man?
Well, then there's the scene where they're in the diner, and then like he looks over and sees that nun that he used to hang out with.
Oh yeah.
And then he sees the 2 preachers. And then he's like, "Hey, any boys' penises in your mouths anymore?" Like, what? I was like, "Wow, what the fuck?"
Yeah, and he draws something on that napkin or whatever, and
it was like a picture of like her and then like his silhouette with his dick out.
Yeah, but you don't really see it. They cut it like super fast.
Yeah,
like you have to freeze frame it to figure out what the hell is on that thing. And that's a thing that I noticed going back and watching it was there's these strange cuts. I'm sure there's deleted scenes and everything like that, but they're just little cuts. If any criticism I have, it's these weird cuts. Like the girlfriend, Gwen, Costello's girlfriend. she's a strange character because she shows up, when they're just rolling down the street and he's like, "Oh, wave to your girlfriend" or whatever. But then like he's back at his house, Costello and French, and they're sitting there talking about French's wife and everything like that, how he killed her and who's loyal and who's not. And then she just like is on the couch and she turns around and she's like, "Oh, fucked up" or whatever. And I'm like, did I miss something? Like, they have to cut out something here because she just seems like an odd character. You don't really know too much about her. It's like, "Oh, I'm going to choir practice," and
Well, I mean,
this and that.
Well, it also goes to show that, like, when it comes down to that kind of thing, that like the crime business, like the women know shit, and that's all. Like, there's not really much to tell. They're not really part of the story. Like, well, I see what you're saying. Like, to know a little bit more about her, but I feel like you already get the gist of who she is for the scenes that she is in, and you kind of get it. Like, there's not really much to say. Like, she goes off and does girly shit with his money and gives him ass whenever he wants it, and she has a great life. Okay, moving on. Like, you kind of get that from,
No, it just the way she was acting in certain scenes. Just like there had to be something cut out. Otherwise, there's no reason for this person to just be acting like this randomly. And why would you show it? I don't know.
Yeah, there were.
I can see that.
There were 9 different scenes on the DVD, but I did not watch them. Just figured I'd put that out there.
All right.
I think I've watched them, but it's been a while.
Another shout out I got to give is Ray Winstone, who plays Mr. French. Is that his? No, but every scene
he's a good actor.
Yeah, he does a good job. He's the right hand man for Costello. He's Bob the Goon, basically in this film, and it cracks me up every time. It's like especially whenever him and Leo are out there doing jobs,
fireworks.
And yeah, he's setting off the fireworks while Leo's in the house beating that guy up. He finds out about Frank being an informant or whatever.
Fuck, is that French out there?
Yeah. But they break into that one guy's house and the guy like freaks out and he takes the kid's toy and throws it and French ducks and it hits Leo in the head or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other ones like French's. Oh shit! What was he doing? He was beating the shit out of that one guy. And then all of a sudden, the guy's sitting there and he reaches in for his cigarettes, and Costigan pistol whips him and knocks his teeth out. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I thought he was reaching. Never mind.
He's the bookie.
I don't know.
Yeah,
he's like, he was a bookie. You know what a bookie does, right?
I don't know. So much good comedy in this, and it's not a comedic
not
film.
A comedy, no.
No, it's not a comedy in any way.
It balances itself out.
And especially when Wahlberg's character, the back and forth between him and Baldwin.
I'm the guy goes to work. You're the other guy.
Oh yeah, whenever the guy forgets to put the camera in the back, he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm the guy who does his job. You're the other guy.
Yeah.
Who are you? Whatever.
I like their one little banner where he's like, say hello to your mother. He's like, "What's your mother doing?" He's like, "She's tired from fucking my father."
Yeah, they go back and forth. So yeah, the little back and forth between them is so funny. Wahlberg does such a good job of being an asshole in this film, man. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's acting on that one. I'd say there's a little. There's a little bit. Anytime he plays an asshole,
You even got to give a shout out to Robbie that made the appearance in there. His other brother.
No, this is
for the 2 seconds.
I was gonna say it was just for that second. I think he nods like, "Hey."
Well, you see him later on whenever they're doing the microchip bust or whatever. He's in that scene as well. So it's just very, very small role, but his brother is that FBI agent Lazio or whatever.
Why were there no cameras back there? You fucked this up. They didn't know we had a Navy.
Oh yeah.
God, I'm gonna watch this shit again. It's so fucking good.
Right.
Yeah, what's some other good scenes? What's some standouts? There's so many of them, but I'm still processing this movie.
Oh man. we've talked about the pretty much the favorite scenes of like Leo and Jack, the cast, and the whole rat thing. Those are probably two of my favorite scenes. Also, like when it's kind of towards the end or whatever, when Frank's really losing his mind and Leo goes in there and he's like, you're free today or whatever the fuck, and he goes outside and guys are like, you're a cop. He's like, what? And he's like, you're a cop. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, you didn't say that to us. You're a cop. He's like, where are you going? And he goes, I'm off today. He's playing with his new guys. And he's like, because that's what I was gonna say. Because Frank's got blood all over him and shit. Like, he's like,
just walks out, like no big deal.
He's fucking losing his mind. Whenever I left, he is covered in blood.
No. Yeah, I was just getting ready to mention that scene. You know, you got Fitzy and Delahunt outside, just hanging out, smoking or whatever. And he's like, oh, you know how you can tell they're a cop because they're not paying any attention to you. See that guy over there? How he's not paying attention to us? He's a cop, And then the people are walking by and they're like, he's like, hey, how you doing? What kind of dog is that? And she just ignores him, like, oh, that must be the fucking district attorney or whatever. But yeah, Fitzy, played by David O'Hara. There's a couple other scenes that he does that are a lot of fun. Whenever Costello was asking for everybody's information, like the social security numbers and everything like that, he's sitting there on the envelope trying to write citizens, and he fucks it up real bad. And then Leo's like, no, give me it. And he crosses it out, and then he writes citizens correctly. And he's like, that ain't it. What are you, fucking word that I can't say? And so he's giving him shit, and he's like, no, this is the right way to write it. And then later on, whenever Frank is talking to him, he's like, when I tell you to dump a body in the mosh, you dump a body in the fucking mosh, not where some John Hancock goes every Thursday to get a blowjob.
And he's like laughing. He's like, don't you laugh. This ain't no reality TV.
This ain't reality TV.
Hey, Mom, I'm not going to be home for supper.
Yeah. Look at fuckstick. You don't have to trust me.
Why'd you use my phone? You didn't go in there.
Just listen to what I'm telling you. So, yeah, man, everybody does a great job in this film, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Anderson, he's not in it long, but.
Now, what's he say? Oh, he's, when that first scene with him and Costigan, they're jogging, they're in their training academy or whatever, and he's talking about how he's like, oh yeah, she said, once I get out of the academy, she's going to take care of me. So pretty soon, your boy's going to be getting blowjobs, and then Costigan's like, oh, your mother must be a fine woman.
Yeah.
And it's just that Boston humor. Like if you ever been around people from Boston, it's that kind of humor where they're busting balls all the time, and it comes out and it shows. It goes back to what I was saying. It really feels like genuine Boston characters, just the way they talk and the way they act, and the ball busting back and forth, straight up Boston.
Word.
Yeah, that scene when they're standing outside, trying to say, I bet he's a cop, she's a cop, she's a district attorney, whatever. Yeah. I don't know why I thought of Key and Peele whenever they're standing outside.
Oh yeah,
Jack Nicholson's my shit. I don't know. That's what I thought of during that scene.
No, I
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, like we said, Jack just steals the show, man. Whether he's in the theater and he turns around with his big black dildo and like, Christ, I almost shot you, or so many good scenes, man. And that rat scene you talked about, Chuck. I think even Scorsese said that was like one of his favorite scenes that he's ever filmed, because it was just pure magic seeing Jack kind of do that improv. Just getting to see Jack Nicholson. Like if you're a director and you're filming Jack Nicholson, it's not, it's a huge honor, but to see him and his genius just unfold right before your very eyes, it's like magic. And Scorsese saw it.
Yeah, he added so much to every scene, and they used it all.
Yeah. The scene where is it Wahlberg and Martin Sheen when they're talking to Costello, they're talking to Frank and all that. That's see, it's like there's just so much magic in every scene. Just good actors, that really know their craft. It's good shit.
Hey, Francis. My mother used to call me Francis. I know, and your father called you the tumor.
Yeah.
It's like, how was your father? Oh, you didn't know him.
Yeah. And then Wahlberg's just like, I can't wait to wipe that smirk off your face. He's like, how would you like to wipe my ass instead? Just back, good. And, we talked about how Queen could have been De Niro and Costello could have been Pacino. That was your Heat moment there. If they had in mind those Pacino and De Niro playing those roles, that would have been your Heat moment where they finally meet up and have that, confrontation of words.
I think that if De Niro would have been, who Sheen was playing, I don't think his death would have been as like, I don't know. Like there's something there's Martin Sheen's character, like he's a tough ass, but he's also got a heart, and he's doing the best he can. De Niro it doesn't matter what he's doing in any movie, he always comes off like an asshole. And it's like, so like his death, like if it was him instead of Sheen, it wouldn't have had that much of an impact, I don't believe. Because when he dies, because that last little bit, he has a cigarette and the lighter won't light, and he goes, "Hey, you mugs got a light," and they take him, and then he's, splat. Like you're kind of like, oh man, that's like really like sad. Like, he was all right, blah blah blah. If it was De Niro, he'd be like, oh, well, that sucks. Like it just wouldn't have been the same. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, fucking tough guy's dead. All right. Like I don't know. It's just, you know what I mean? Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it just adds that other layer of tension in that, after that, because that the only two people that know that Costigan's undercover is Sheen and Wahlberg. So now he's got to rely on Wahlberg, who's a fucking loose cannon wild card. It's like, you got my life in your hands.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like he ends up, because after Sheen's character dies, he ends up getting into it with Matt Damon, and then he's the only one that's got old dude's back, and then he's like suspended and taken off and all that. Which that goes to another scene that's just really like that whole, before Caprio realizes who Damon is, that whole scene right there where he's in there talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, I gotta go to the other room. This computer's being like wonky, whatever the fuck. And then he ends up seeing the envelope, and then like that minute to where like, because us as the viewer already know what's going on, but that moment when a character realizes like, oh shit, there's something about that when movies do that and do that perfect. That is just like one of those scenes where you're like, oh fuck, he knows now. So like, how is he going to play this? And to be perfectly honest, when seeing the movie, I thought it was going to go a totally different route from there on. And I'm glad that I was wrong, because I'm a big stickler about endings of movies. And again, I think this movie's perfect. And yeah, no. And then because like after that, it goes into the whole thing. Like, I mean, like the scene where old girl puts the audio on the recorder.
Oh yeah.
And it pretty much just exposes old dude. Like, man, just everything. There's so many twists, and there's just so many things that us as the viewers see that certain characters don't know yet, and you're just kind of waiting for the fucking top to be blown on it. You know what I mean? This movie is just full of just like we said, tension and just like it's suspenseful in a lot of places. Goddamn, just a fucking great movie, man. Like I said, I'm a huge Nicholson fan. Have been since I was a fucking kid. And out of the many great roles that man has done, this is in my top 5 favorite roles he's ever done. I mean, you believe him to be this guy. You believe him to be that sinister. Like, that was good shit.
And probably one of his last, you know, he only did a few other films after this, I think. And so to me, this is his kind of his swan song. You know, this is him going out, you know, on top. You know, what he did, like Bucket List and a couple other films, but this is it. You know,
this was the last Jack movie.
Yes,
this was the last Jack movie because unfortunately, I wish his last movie that he was in wasn't what it was, because it's that Paul Rudd movie where he's in it like for 10 minutes all the way.
Oh, how do you know?
Yeah, and it's not that very good of a movie. It's actually pretty shitty, and like, I don't know, like. I would have liked to see him go to, huh?
Yeah.
At least it wasn't anger management.
I like anger management though, and it's only because of him. Like I hate Adam Sandler, but I like that movie a lot.
This would have been the perfect film for him to just ride off into the sunset after.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a small thing. Whenever Costello gets killed, and Damon's standing there. And then all of a sudden he's like, I got him. And then like, plays that little thing. I thought that was funny.
And then also another thing is at the end of the movie, like, you know, everybody's fucking dead. And the truth has kind of come out with the woman. What's her fucking name in the movie? The girl, the girlfriend, the wife, whatever. And all that shit's out. And when, you know, you're like, man, you know, okay, so now he knows that she's pregnant and it's not his. Like, okay, well, what kind of like justice is that? And then Mark Wahlberg comes in and fucking steals it. Like, I mean, dude, like, I was not, because you kind of forget about anybody else. Like, oh shit, like blah blah blah. And you're like, oh wait, and that scene, he walks in, you know, Matt Damon walks in there and he's got those fucking donuts and shit, and he just kind of looks. He's like, and he just kind of looks at it and he's like,
all right.
Yeah, and just pop. And
that seems perfect.
Oh yeah. It was the perfect ending. I was like, okay, there's the fucking justice. Like in some way, shape, or form, there's the fucking justice. This guy can't keep doing this shit for years and years and years and getting away with it.
Just the way that scene is shot, I fucking love it. Because like you see the door open, and then he turns around with the bag in his hand, then like it just pans up with like white little booties. And then it just like pans up into Mark Wahlberg, and then he just fucking has his gun pulled and just shoots him right in the fucking face. And then the fucking bag falls and the donuts and shit fall out of it.
And then just goes on like he's a jogger.
So fucking good. Yeah, and he just fucking rolls out. It's like, all right, I'm out of here.
And Dignam had been such an asshole throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And you know, he's that likable asshole, but you're kind of like, man, this guy's a fucking prick. But at the end, you know, he gets the justice, like you said, for Costigan and for Queenan and everybody that fucking, because Damon thought he got away with it there for a minute.
Yep.
But nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So yeah,
So
good shit,
fucking
man. Good shit.
One of the best. You know, is there any other movies that Scorsese did with Nicholson?
No.
It's a real shame. I would have liked to have seen like some more. I wonder why that never was a thing. Just not Boston enough, you know. Like I don't know.
Hard to say.
He collided with a lot of the other actors, just not Jack. I don't know why.
Yeah,
that's why he wanted Pacino for this. He never worked with Pacino before, and he wanted to have him in there. But then they just did The Irishman. So
yeah. I could see Pacino, like more than I could De Niro and Sheen's part. I could see Pacino pulling off a very similar, you know, in his own way. Like because I was trying to think of putting Al Pacino in those scenes that Jack, you know, did and shit. And I could, you know, and I'm sure he would have ad-libbed too, so it would have been different. But like obviously, but probably could have been just as good. But I also think Jack was like kind of like you can't see anybody else playing it, honestly. You know,
right.
This is a great job.
Now, like I love De Niro though. Like if he wasn't doing The Good Shepherd, he would have definitely been in this shit.
I would have liked to have seen a movie because there's not a movie with Jack and Pacino, is there?
With Jack and Pacino?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
That's weird. Just because I always, growing up, I always kind of put, Jack Nicholson and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and fucking, God damn it, I'm drawing a fucking blank. Fucking Goodfellas. Huh?
Leota.
Yeah, Ray Liotta, Gene Hackman, like all these guys, like kind of like in the same kind of, badassery area, So like it's kind of weird that some of them never acted together. And I would have loved to have seen some of these guys. I remember that was one thing I loved about Heat was seeing, Pacino and De Niro in a movie together playing the opposites, And that famous copies, and But that one's got a lot of star. That one is when it comes down to star-studded crime movies.
Trejo's the pimp in Heat.
Yep.
Just kill me.
Then is he the one that does he die by Henry Rollins or does Henry Rollins die by him?
I think Rollins dies by him in that one because De Niro shoots Trejo.
Okay, that's okay. I couldn't remember. Been a while since I've seen that one. That's a good one too, though, man. It's right up there with some of my favorites. It's up there with this one.
Because Trejo gets blown up and he just wants fucking to be put out of his misery.
Yeah, that's one of me and my stepdad's favorite movies to watch on occasions. Good shit. Departed, man.
Trejo said that's his favorite death in any movie he's been in because he got killed by De Niro.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
De Niro used to be cool.
Then he got payback in Machete.
And the Machete movies. I need to go back and watch those.
Can you just imagine Pacino playing Costello, especially in that Coke scene where he takes the Coke and throws on the girl, looks at the girl, she got a great ass!
Can you imagine if they would have put Pesci in this?
Oh, jeez.
Like he could have played Frank or Sheen's character.
Frenchie.
I could see that.
You really should talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Oh man. DeVito being Nicholson's right hand man. Whoa.
Oh.
I mean, he already was in Hoffa.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He went in the Joker.
Together at last.
Right.
Frank. Frank and Frank. No.
Frankenstein.
Oh man.
Frank, you really should see somebody.
No, that wouldn't have worked. But no, Pesci would have been great.
Yeah.
Oh man. But like we said, man, star-studded cast. Everybody does a great job of this film, and it goes to show why it got the Oscar for Scorsese. Man, definitely one of his best films. I don't think it's his best film of all time, in my opinion, but it's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
And such a great flick. Everybody, like you said, Nicholson is a legend. DiCaprio, man, just totally schools it. Damon, I can't say enough good things about the actors in this film, man. They did a great job.
This is one film that
all their characters.
Yeah, like this is one movie that you don't ever hear. I've never had one person tell me they saw this movie and they hated it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no. Even if you want to hate it for whatever reason, before you watch it, by the end of it, you love it. Like, it's just too good of a fucking movie. Like, it's a damn good movie. And for you watching, if you've never seen this movie, sorry we ruined it for you, but you should have watched the movie before you watched us.
No, they know. Whenever they come on here, there's spoilers ahead.
Big spoiler warning.
Although, if you think about it, they probably would have known who the rats were if you really think about it. Because it's like, if you know Sullivan has been with Costello's crew since he was a kid, then you would already have that information. Or the same with Costigan. If he's with Costello's crew, and they got pictures of Costello's crew up in the barn or whatever, why doesn't Anthony Anderson be like, hey, I know that guy. I went to school with him or whatever,
yeah, but, Well, yeah, that's true.
I feel like
They don't
If
ever
you
see them,
really
though.
never see who.
They make sure not like. Don't they like make sure to where Caprio could ever be seen and all that shit?
I don't think so, because he even says whenever they're that night, whenever they're doing the microprocessors, and he says, "Oh, it's Billy Costigan," so they knew who Billy Costigan
Oh, well, that's
was.
true. Yeah, but was old dude in there when they said that though?
No, but I'm sure his picture was hanging up. He was undercover for how long? I feel like he was undercover for like a couple years.
Yeah.
So they should
had
have
files and all of his guys. So I mean,
yeah. So you would have known something would have happened, but you can overlook all that. That's me freaking picking apart. But I don't have to pick apart because the film is so fucking good that I don't have to look at that shit and say, oh, whatever, good shit.
True.
Fucking great.
it's fucking great.
Good shit, man.
So yeah.
Any final thoughts on The Departed?
Any final thoughts? Look at Fuckstick. If you haven't seen The Departed, go watch it. Go tell your friends to go watch it. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
All right.
What he said.
Nah, I love y'all. I love y'all.
Concur.
There you have it. There's 2006's The Departed. Another good pick. Another good pick, Nasty. You're on a roll, sir.
Hey, man, I do what I can.
Call him butter.
All right, before we go, it is now time for our random clip of the week. If you're new here, that is where our magic random clip generator selects for us a random clip from a random movie. It could be anything, so let's just hope we don't get canceled.
Fired.
What do we got this week?
Fired.
Come on, run! You can dance better than that!
Lord.
It's not mine.
Shit.
Yeah.
Mad Dog Cannon. Another great flick.
Good cheating blacksmith.
I always like three. A lot of people gave 3 shit. I always like 3.
I always like the third one, too.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially like he's doing the whole Clint Eastwood thing the whole time. As a kid, like
what name is that?
Like, yeah, right. As a kid,
moccasins.
As a kid, I watched mainly the Western Clint Eastwood films, and that always, I don't know, that always made me like it even more. The fuck y'all giggling about?
Nothing.
This ain't reality TV. Actually, it kind of is, but
it is
not really.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Before we go, what are we doing next week? I believe it's Mike's pick.
Hey everybody, Laser Trading Company is on YouTube. See some of the videos from Mike's travels and experiences. If you haven't already, please head over and subscribe. 7,800 and growing. Thank you all. Laser Trading Company is also available on eBay with various merchandise and collectibles. Hundreds of great gift ideas. That's Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company. Laser Trading Company.
You know him from Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, Nasty Nation, Graveyard Talk, and the Video Store Clerks Podcast. He is the creator of Stoner Gore.
Jack Nasty! And if you're looking for the latest in extreme horror, head over to Amazon.com. Look up Chuck Nasty, and the following titles are available. Along with the latest album, Decay of Man, from Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube now.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Yes, next week is Mike's pick.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to stick with the New York theme, brothers. We're going to go to New Jack City. Nino Brown, sit your $5 ass. I fucked up the quote. Whatever. Nino Brown.
We're going to the Carter because I am my brother's keeper.
I fucked it up. $5 ass down before I make change. That's what I was trying to say. I fucked it up. That's why I'm not an actor. That's why I'm not an actor.
Right.
The Mario
New
Van
Jack City.
Peebles directed.
Mario Van Peebles directed New Jack City, and we're going to chat about it a little bit more next week. I'm excited to go back and revisit my.
All right, there you go. Next week, Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, New Jack City. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're about to get out of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone about the Video Store Clerks podcast. We are your clerks. We're getting out of here. Good night.
See you next week.
When I tell you what a podcast is, homage, put it in the podcast. What are you on your period?
Living in New